blush is all very flat. When we do the first flush on the face, you'll see it become round. And the center of the face is not right there. It's pretty much right here. Do you see? Because he's had his head slightly turned. So that's the brightest area in the face, right in the middle. Same with the neck. And, well, you know, first you always have your two colors that we're using. Vermilion, and we're going to tint it with a little bit of Naples. Okay. And in another pile, we want a little bit of medium and some water. That's medium and water just to help me out a little bit. Okay, always mix in a separate place. You have your two colors, and you will mix a little bit of, you can mix this too pale, and the face will become real chalky. So you don't want to put too much in. You just want to lighten it slightly, pretty much like that. So I've mixed it. Now just load the tip of your brush and pull it to straighten it off. Okay. Let's do the forehead first. Where's the picture? It doesn't, you don't have to get the icon, just the picture's fine. The picture. You can just set it right there. Because there's different ways to do a forehead. Again, this is one of the easier ways for your forehead. Okay. So it's very transparent. I usually do the eyebrows early on because they define a lot of expression. So the eyebrows sit right above the hair. You have the hair drawn on there, right? And if you notice, there's kind of a Y at the top of the, it usually lines up with that Y. These lines that are on here are sort of guidelines, and if you can change them, and if I don't like something, I'll change it. You know, so I want more of a sweep, you know, more of that kind of a curve. So I'll ignore that line and do that. It'll dip down here, but it'll be starting to disappear. You won't have too much color there. You can see that this color is building up very slowly. And if you move too fast, it'll look pretty weird. But if you go slow and build it up transparently, you won't have a hard time. Whole eyelid. Even that little piece right there. I turn it so I can get the best brush stroke. It's very bright right there. I can put a little dot there so you know what I mean. It's very bright right there. There's a Fulton It's that little white thing above your lip. That little fulcrum. Lower lip, don't do the upper lip, just the lower lip. We don't paint the upper lip. That remains shadow. And the top of the chin. And that gets dimmer as it goes down. So you can make it bright. Tap it with your finger to soften it. Okay. Now, there's different ways to do John the Baptist's face. This is probably the most common way to... Did you get all the little pictures I sent you? And save them on your phone? We'll do this one. So you have a bag under your eye. Let's see, it's up a little higher. It's drawn a little low here. Trying to move it up. And then there's the shape of the cheekbone.
High cheekbone.
A high cheek, it has a high cheek, very pronounced cheekbone. And it's kind of like an egg shape with the small part of the egg up in the top. And you always know, do you remember where does the cheekbone, the top of the cheekbone start?
Yeah, the curve of the eye towards
Yeah.
the end. Yeah.
Right, if you do an arc through the pupils, it would be right there, the top, right there. That's the top of the cheekbone. Then there's some more definition right in here. This has to be done really slowly and transparently, or it'll look crazy pretty quick. On the other side of the face, the brightness, you know, when you're doing any flesh, the brightness has an origin, at the point of origin, it's very bright. Mm-hmm. And as it moves away from that, it gets dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. So, point of origin of light on this side of the face is right here.
Would you say like the brighter spots are more pigmented? Like the way you...
Yeah, they're heavier pigmented, yeah. Yeah. They have more color, more chroma. And this, on this side of the face, it sort of arcs gently away from the nose as it comes down. And you can still do the, what we call it, tear track, I call it. I don't know what it's called. You see it on old men. It's from years of repentance, that's where the tracks of the tears. It's what it is.
Let's check you out, see if you have one of those.
Yeah. And a little bit there. So this side of the face is going to be brighter because his head's turned. This side is going to be a little bit dimmer. Don't forget his ears. Often people do. I ignoring some of the lines and just putting things in where I think they go, okay?
Yes. I actually meant to put it on. You might not see it.
There you go. Now the neck, you can do it in many different ways, but I thought this is probably the easiest way. So this is what we're going to do in claws. And you don't have it on there, so I get to pick it where I want to put it. So, you know, that's that. Where your collarbones almost meet, and there's that little, you can feel it, little indentation. So that's the middle of his That's the middle of his chest. And that's going to be the brightest because he's facing us. But then you have to get up into this part of his neck actually shows. So put it on there.
Long line.
You have to paint around all these little sections of beard. That's okay. Just do it very transparently and be very aware of what you're working on. So you're not painting the beard, but around the beard. Yeah, let's see. I think maybe a line was forgotten. I'll just get to it later. In all icons, John has a beard like this. It's kind of scraggly, and in different points all over it. There's many different kinds of beards in icons. Some have real full beards, some real narrow beards. Some have beards that come down on two sides and are pointed in twice, and some have two points and they come together and they always have a middle. So many different kinds of beards in icons. But John always has a beard like this. Who else has a beard like this is St. Paul.
Oh.
But his is shorter, a lot shorter. But it is in little bits, you know? You can always recognize the saints because they're all painted the same way all the time, you know?
Interesting.
They always look the same. That's why. And you want them to because, well, you know, the last thing that goes on an icon is the inscription, who it is, you know? But some of these saints that are well known, you don't need an inscription because you know who they are just looking at them. Upheld. So now I'm brightening. Most of the brightness on the face is toward the top of the face in this circle. Think of the face as an egg shape, but the top of the egg, bottom of the egg is a little bit dimmer. Of course, it's going to be bright in the middle because it's forward facing. The forehead's sort of bright at the top and dims as it goes down. This is bright as the top and dims as it goes down. Eyebrows are bright at the bottom and dim as they go up. You won't notice it so much on this light, but you will on the next one. Everything dims way before it gets to the hair. If you make it real bright on the edge, his face will go back flat again, you know. It's not going to look like a face. It'll look like one of those cartoon characters that gets hit with a frying pan. That's not good.
So expressive.
That can't be good. Right? So he's starting to look like John, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't go down too close to the beard. If you get too close to the beard and it's too bright, the beard is going to look like one of those department store Santa Clauses where it's kind of stuck on, you know. You want it to look natural, so you don't get too bright down there. And the nostrils are bright, not on the bottom of the nostril, but on the top, sort of in the back. This is a very nice size to do this face because it's kind of small. Nice size brush. It's going to get pretty bright by the time I'm done. It will get a lot brighter. But I wanted to show you, probably this hand is going to be the most difficult for most people, or challenging. I'll show you the easiest way to do a hand. Okay, fingernails. Fingernails are bright on the ends and they dim as they go closer to the cuticle, right? So, put the brightness up. You don't see that fingernail because his finger's too turned, but let's see. I'm going to make his fingernail out here. Okay. This one you only see part of the fingernail. That is too far away. There's no fingernail there. Okay. Now what you do is see the knuckles. First knuckle is right here. Second knuckle is right about here. You know, second. Third is up close to the fingernail, but not touching it. It's right around there. And there's a cuticle. So, put those on first and make them really bright. Don't be afraid to make them really bright. If you get these on in the right place, you won't have a problem doing the hand. That finger's turned, you know, a little bit more. So the fingernail's not down. I mean, the knuckle's not down here. It's up on the upper edge. Now this is just a pad, you know, this side of the finger.
It takes 2 hours to get there. Right now it's 80 degrees.
Okay. Nice and bright. Also, there's a bright spot right here. You have this side of your hand, and it's bright. The whole thing, but there are some lines to it, so you don't paint that. That's that pad down here. And you can separate this part into 2 parts, 3 parts, or make it just one big area. That's a first pass. We have to develop this light quite a bit. You got to think of what's close to you. I always kind of do a round shape right here. Pull it down from the top. It dims as it goes down. And then you have that pad of the thumb. This part. Doing it on. This is just the first step. You'll see, it'll make sense to you later when I show you. You have 2 bones coming down. This one is going to be the widest because it's close to you. I might. Whoop, that's too.
Maple.
I want to do this a little more transparently. So I'll use some of my mix. Because there's this muscle, you know. And when you're doing flesh in an icon, the whole thing, you think, oh, it's skin, so it all gets the same color. It's always separated into groups, muscle groups and things. So, and you can figure out where you want to put it. But I would define it first because you don't want to be, is that high? It could be higher, couldn't it? Maybe a little bit. Let's try a little more pigment. Yeah, that's better. A little too much details in there. That's better. And then you have another coming down. But every time you go over it, it gets brighter. And at some point, it's going to get real bright, and you're going to have this dark line. But you just put a wash over that line and soften it, you know? Same with the forehead. You don't want really dark lines up there. But for a little while, it might look like you have one, you know? Always keep moving around. Don't paint over wet paint. Okay. You want to do it with the hair dryer? I just want to dry this hand. This is a transparent color. So go up where your cuticle is. And
Top half, right? Top half.
yeah, the top half is the brightest.
Thank you.
But you're going to paint the whole finger. If you leave it off the bottom, it's not going to work too good. Every time you paint over those knuckles, they're just going to get brighter. And when it starts to look like a finger, you'll stop adding this color. It will eventually. You can even put a little bit of light over there. You don't need to do too much on that side, but a little bit's probably good. And just keep building it, you know, and strengthening colors that you've already done. This hand, I'll let you figure that out. But you can see the face has a lot further to go. It's going to get a lot brighter in some places. Always start in your bright places and pull it out from there. Because this is the origin of the light right there. And it gets dimmer as it goes down, so you want to pull it down. Well, anyway, I think you guys get the idea, right? And if I put my second light on top of this without at least putting a little color in there, it's going to look too dark by the time it gets to the end of the icon. So you have to think ahead a little bit like that. It'll look like there was a slit in it, you know? So put a little color in there. It doesn't have to be much. And even over here, see how this is so dark? You have to do something. Well, anyway, you guys get the idea. A lot more has to be done. But this isn't an icon. This is your icon. You look good.
Second Flash and John the Baptist.
And we're using yellow oxide plus a little bit, tiny bit of Naples This is our second flush. Second flush can only sit on first flush. So if you haven't got your first, see, I won't be doing the neck because she hasn't developed it enough. It's
I
not.
thought I did it so much.
That's okay. I won't be doing this either because it needs to be brighter. But I'll be working on the face. Okay.
Okay, yes, sir.
Okay. Because this has to go. See how bright that is? That has to be that bright.
Oh,
This has to be that bright.
okay.
Really
Okay.
bright. That right there. This
All right.
area around here has to be that bright. Fingers need to be brighter.
Okay.
Okay? No big deal. Oh, not from mine. Yellow oxide plus Naples. You want to brighten it slightly. That's good. And this is my boy here. Still have her. That's the brightest spot on the nose right there. Let me put a little more pigment. I'm going to lay in my bright spots first. Okay? What we call the sparks. They don't want to. That's okay. These are the places where the light are, is brightest, where it kind of emerges, you know, and it diminishes further away it gets from these spots. Like I said, I'm not going to do that ear is not going to be as bright as this ear because his head's turned, you know. Okay, so you can take this color that you just made, dilute it with medium and water, same color, and extend these. Maybe a little more color in there. It's a little bit too invisible. I'm going to use more color. There we go. It's coming. Always paint over that bright spot. It just gets brighter, you know. That's what you want. You want to make it broader, bigger, and brighter. Back of the nostril again is where the light is. You can do like that. The shape, you often see that. And then you would do it over here too. Remember, there's one more light that's going to sit right on top of this. So
Amazing.
you what?
Amazing to me.
What was that?
It's great looking. That's
Always paint over what you previously did, and you will get a nice, soft gradation of color. As long as you do it transparently, of course. These faces go pretty quick, little ones. Okay. Let's, and an ear is right there and down on the bottom. Okay. Neck I would brighten right there, but it needs to be a little brighter with the first light, so I won't be able to do that.
I thought it's so dark.
What's that?
I thought that was way too dark, so I stopped.
What's
doing
dark?
it. That first
You mean
flash.
bright?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean,
Too bright? It's not too bright.
you say so.
I say so.
I understand. Totally trust.
Who are we to argue?
There's no reason to drag.
I use this full strength. See, I avoid that.
Beautiful.
I sock it until last and put it on full strength because you got more control. I'm using full strength just to reinforce what I've done. But we can go a little. We need to do the upper eyelid, but not very much. But you can see it needs to be a little brighter.
Is that with a medium?
Yeah, it has a little medium in it because I wanted to keep it transparent, not do too much. Can you see the line there? It's light and dark. Do you see it? That shouldn't be there, so you have to work that out.
Sorry.
There should be nice, soft transitions in between the tones, if you know what I mean. Of course, this side of the face is going to be a little brighter than that side, so you don't have to do too much over there. He's looking like John the Baptist.
Wow. Yes.
Okay, next, we brighten this color. A little bit of Naples. Well, actually, a lot more Naples.
Yellow oxide with maples.
Yeah.
Used to go to the bakery and they were 45 cents for 3 dozen. They put them in the white box for you, tied up with the string.
Aw. They don't do that.
And they had the machine to slice the bread. And I used to, when I was start all crawling to the counter and grab the crusts out and fell in the box.
That's funny.
He's looking like John. I forgot about that down there, but we can put a little light on it. Yeah, it needs to be. Yeah. Too bright. That's better.
Beautiful.
It's not gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Gorgeous. Wow. Gorgeous. Okay. Now the final, we will put lines back on, and we'll do the beard in brown, the hair in brown, but we can do the final, which is get a little warm white.
Warm white.
Warm white. Tint it slightly with the yellow. Now these are very deliberate and very carefully placed lines. There's always a dominant one and a secondary one. That would be the dominant one you do first. Secondary is shorter, smaller. If there's enough room for two lines on there, you can put two. If there's only enough room for one, just do one. Yeah, one. These are called enliveners. They make this flesh kind of sparkle and give it life. That's why they're called enliveners. Sometimes on small phases like this, you don't see them because they're a little bit harder to do. But if you have nice brushes, you can do it. And you all have nice brushes. This side of the face is brighter, so these are going to be maybe more developed than they are on the other side of the face. See, there's three of them here. There might be just two. Usually above, there's at least two parallel lines. Sometimes if the face is bigger and brighter, you can do three. There's the dominant one, and then the secondary one. And also do, see his head's turned slightly that way, so to bring his gaze back this way, you would put the white of the eye, a comma, on this side, not touching the eyelash, but close to it. It's like a comma. That brings his head back around, facing you, the viewer. All right. And on this side, he might have a little bit of a, and on this side, maybe just one, you know? That's good. When we put the lines back on, it's going to pop even more. Okay?
Yes. Gorgeous.
Gorgeous.